spoken to
Okay,
in
it's
so
okay.
long.
I was like, you was freezing for a minute, but we're good. It's okay.
I
You were
know
just
it's
like
like
this.
trauma, like PTSD with the Zoom.
Yeah, it's definitely a tricky one. We always have like the worst issues. So hopefully not today. Look, I live in a new house. It was always my internet.
Well, I'm now on a very small sailboat in the Caribbean off my 4G, so fingers crossed that I'm not going to be the problem this time because I think my dad was like,
There'll always be one. It's unavoidable. We
yeah,
obviously don't have Danny today because Danny is on placement for her nursing degree, so she's very hard to schedule with at the moment. So we will have her next week, and that's probably a good lead in to say that Daisy, I guess I'll let you take the reins and talk about what the future is for you on Pita Party.
yeah, I am not going to be part of Pit Party consistently. Hopefully, I'll be on for a few episodes as a guest. But yeah, it's just that the way my life is at the moment, it's a little bit hectic and it's hard for me to commit to things. So I've decided to kind of take a step back and yeah, just kind of watch on the sidelines and support the girls and watch my new season. Yay.
You can watch us just talk about you for the next however
Yeah,
many weeks.
exactly. Hopefully I'll just stay really positive and keep saying how fabulous I am and how much you love me. But
Obviously, we're Team Daisy always.
yeah.
Daisy can do no wrong. Well, yeah, what have you
Oh,
been up to?
my
It's been
goodness.
so long since I've chatted to you, and I mean, we don't have a lot of time today because we're gonna cover, briefly cover 2 episodes. But I want to know where you're at.
Yeah, I haven't there's not a huge amount to report. Obviously it was all in the dark that I, you know, filmed a new season and then that all kind of got announced pretty quickly and then yeah, all of a sudden it's airing now. And other than that, I'm just kind of living in London and traveling a lot and spending time with friends and family. I'm in
Yeah,
the
you've been with your
Caribbean at the
sister
moment
a
with
lot, which
my
is so
family.
good.
Yeah, it's been a good year. It's kind of what I've wanted to do for a while, just kind of spend time with people that are important to me. And this year I kind of got to do a lot of that, which has been really nice. I haven't been working a huge amount, but yeah, another season. Here we go again. So I guess that's the kind of major thing that's happening in my life.
Yeah, pretty major. The whole world is analyzing you under a microscope. How are you
I know
feeling
it's
going
weird. It's
into
a
the
bit weird.
season? Sorry, go ahead.
How do I feel going into this season? I feel, I'm quite anxious. I'm feeling a lot of things, mainly anxiety, but I just have to remind myself that I think I feel like this like the beginning of every season. I just kind of forget. But yeah, it's not easy, having to relive things that happened 10 months ago. That's difficult for me and having to explain myself and having to explain my actions. But so far one episode's out, another one's about to air, and yeah, so far so good, I think. So yeah, only kind of 15 more to go. Nearly
Yeah,
there.
I know that like the trailer definitely dropped a few bombs on you already with an anticipated love triangle. How's your inbox been looking? I bet you've got like 100 million questions.
Yeah, it's funny. I think a lot of people are shocked, but I think they're also not shocked at the same time. I think they're a bit like, oh, we can kind of see it happening, Colin's single, like you're single, why not? And of course, Gary, crying in the corner, being like, oh, boo, poor me. Like, I think in a lot of ways it's quite predictable, those kind of spoilers, but I do think people are also shocked at the same time. It's a bit of one of those funny ones where you're like, but you're also like, I kind of expected it or kind of knew it. So I think it would have been more shocking if I'd like developed a relationship with like a junior deckhand or something. I think people would have found that more shocking,
Hey,
whereas I think the Colin thing was
you've got Alex absolutely nipping at your heels there, so it could have happened.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, I've said it before, junior deckhands have a thing for me. What can I say?
That's so funny. Well, at least JL didn't. You dodged a bullet there.
Well, this is it. This is no comment,
So
no comment.
speaking of Alex, it's been out there that Alex is apparently cast on Winter House. I saw on some of those Bravo Instagram pages. Did you have any idea about this?
I have absolutely no idea. I can neither confirm nor deny. I haven't spoken to Alex about it. I haven't asked him about it. If it's true, I'm delighted for him and I'll definitely be tuning in. But yeah, I haven't had a chance to speak to Alex yet, so I don't know.
I feel like his aesthetic is like it's fitting for the pretty people on Winter House and Summer House.
Well, I've never watched Winter House, so I
Well, it's
cannot
half the
comment.
Summer House, half the Summer House people anyway. So it's all like
Okay, well, if it just for if your requirement is to be hot, then yes, Alex will 100% fit in. He is he is very attractive looking. So
what were your first impressions of the new crew this season? If you can go through like each one by one.
yeah, I think overall my impressions were, pretty good. I think, Alex was obviously really hot. I really like the girls, Lucy straight away, she's my kind of girl. She's British. I just think she's so funny and just very down to earth. I, immediately when I had that team meeting with the girls, felt, very little animosity. And I didn't feel like I was going to come with the same challenges I did last year. Chase, I was a bit like, oh, I don't know about this guy.
Oh my God. I'm watching Chase. I love him. He's probably my favorite. But and Lucy's my favorite too. I really liked her. As soon as she was on the screen, I was like, she's got good vibes. But I was thinking Chase is literally exactly the type of person that would annoy the shit out of Dave.
Yeah, he is very like Alex and Lucy are very dry. And Mads as well, like very dry humor, which is my kind of humor. And I would describe Chase's humor as very wet, which is not my kind of humor and kind of like slapstick humor. So that I kind of picked that up straight away. But initially I gave everyone the benefit of the doubt. I was impressed with Alicia's food at the beginning. So yeah, overall, first impressions, and I'm very much, I would like to think, quite a positive and look at, first impressions quite positively. So yeah, first impressions for me were a solid 8 out of 10.
That's good. That's really good. Yeah. What's the girls'
it doesn't stay like that. That's not a consistent theme, but initially.
For now, for what we've seen.
Exactly.
What's the experience the girls have? I know you made them both junior stews just to get the drama out of the way, but they both seem like ideal stews for you.
They actually were very, very green, and they were a lot they were probably the greenest stews I'd worked with, but the initiative was there, and the charisma and the willing to learn and the wanting to learn was there, so that I would give them 10 out of 10. They had the right attitude, but experience wise they were very green. They're both very young. They're both in their early 20s. And not a huge amount hospitality or yachting experience, but that stuff you can learn, but an attitude you can't learn. So the attitude was fun.
That's very true. I feel like because I obviously I remember our season and you were like, my worst nightmare would be a really green stew, and I was like, hey, I'm a deckhand. And yeah, it seems like you're like in a really different headspace, like doing like this is your third season. Third? Yeah, third.
Yeah, no, definitely. I 100% agree. I think I feel a lot more confident in my position, and I feel like a junior stew is something I can take on, and I'm kind of less worried about the junior stew aspect and the experience aspect, and a lot more worried about their attitude and wanting to be there and having not having difficult people to work with. So yeah, my attitude has changed. I'm like, you know what, you don't know how to make a bed, that's okay, I can teach you. But if you're difficult to be around, that I'm like, I don't know how to deal with that. That's, you know, something I'm still trying to work with and trying to learn. So yeah, I definitely think I've developed, you know, as a person, as a manager, which you'd hope you would do after 3 years of doing it. So
Yeah, definitely. I can see it like in the very snippet that I've seen so far. You just seem so much more relaxed in the experience.
well, I definitely wasn't relaxed in those first few days when we joined the boat for
Oh,
that
okay.
first year. 3 years. That was awful, absolutely awful. I definitely don't feel that way anymore. I definitely have relaxed in that sense. So I'm glad that it is transparent across the screen because I feel more relaxed
It
for
is.
sure.
It is. It is. Yeah, you didn't sleep when we like your first night. So
Yeah.
when on our season, I mean. So Parsifal seems like it's falling to pieces. Like it's really, I mean, the problem with the engine, there's just issues. There's issues. And I remember when I was working after we did the crossing, and it was just shipyard work, and the engineer was just consistently like, I hate this boat, I hate this boat, I hate this boat. Like how are you feeling towards Parsifal? I feel like has it got like bad luck charm looming over it or something? There's always some sort of drama.
I definitely hate Parsival. I feel like I say a line at some stage. I don't know if it's already been aired, but I'm like, me and Parsival aren't friends anymore. We're like enemies. We don't like each other. We're not on the same page. And yeah, she was not behaving. She was a bad boat.
What a girl.
I, yeah, I've never really experienced anything like it before, to be honest. It was quite a struggle. It was a struggle for everyone. It was a worry. You know, I felt bad for Colin. I worried about our own jobs. I worried about the guests. And yeah, it just wasn't fun. It was really, really stressful. And on top of a really stressful environment, then we had this. It just was chaos, absolute chaos. We really didn't know what was going to happen or what. Initially, I very much felt like it was going to be okay because I'm like, we have an engineer. You know, that's what engineers do. They fix things. Like that's the point of them. But then it started getting to the point where I was like, I need to be quite realistic that our season might be over. And that was, you know, a big worry. Like that's my job for the summer. That's my money, you know, for the summer. Like I have bills to pay, I have rent, I have, you know, food to buy. So it was quite stressful.
Yeah, I can imagine. And Colin really pulled a rabbit out of his hat, getting the engine, basically rebuilding the engine himself. That was like extremely impressive.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. I didn't talk to Colin a huge amount the first kind of 2 days because I didn't want to distract him or I didn't want to like kick anything off or I didn't, you know, so I very much kept my questions to myself unless I felt like it was a safe space. Didn't want to get snapped at or anything like that. And so I didn't know a huge amount of what was going on, but yeah, he was working long hours in there. It was hot, stuffy. There was a lot going on, but
Oh
he did an
yeah, it would
amazing job.
be stuck in there,
Yeah, it was.
that hole.
That's like I've worked long enough on boats to know when to approach people and when not to. And I was very like, I am not going to go into that engine room and start asking questions that have negative responses because, yeah, that's not what you want to hear. But no, he did. Yeah, did an amazing job. So yeah, kudos to him.
Speaking of negative responses, there's oh my god, my cat keeps trying to jump on the on the keyboard. Speaking of negative responses, there was a little bit of an exchange between you and Glenn. Like, is that how like watching that as a viewer is sad to see because like you know, you and Glenn, you've always been a team. How do you feel about those kind of exchanges with him?
Yeah, it was God, yeah, it's kind of a theme that kind of runs throughout the season. And I don't, I think it's more of a question for him. I don't feel like my attitude really had changed. I think it was more his attitude towards me. Maybe he thought I just wasn't doing a good job. Maybe he thought that maybe the pressure of the engine, was getting to him, and he needed a way to kind of release that pressure, and he took it out of me. I don't really know. But yeah, it was frustrating for me to watch because, those questions are directed at me, and I'm asked a question and then I answer it, and then I'm being defensive, and I'm like, oh, I'm just answering a question, as honestly as I can. And then I'm like, am I being defensive? And I'm like, well, I wasn't there. And, I'm the kind of person who trusts my stews. I'm the kind of person who has faith in them. And, I can tell the girls are smart, and they're smart enough to know if there's no toilet paper to replenish it. We did the best we could. It wasn't an easy charter for us. It was 8 women. It's a lot. It's a lot of pressure, and I did the best I could. So for me, it was a bit frustrating, but yeah, maybe I am just a defensive person. Maybe I wasn't taking the criticism the way I needed to. Maybe I really did just do a bad job. Maybe I'm not a good chief stew. I don't know. But it was, yeah, it's kind of a theme that runs throughout the season, and I don't really know what else to say, to be honest. I think it's going to be a bit of a different view for the audience for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Glenn's definitely got a reputation as being the most laid back captain in the franchise, and yeah, it seems like, oh my God, my cat's meowing
I think
at
for
birds.
me,
I
like,
don't know if you can hear that. It's very distracting.
I can't.
Get the cat
I
out.
think for me, it's fine to be laid back. Like, I think, I feel confident in my job, and I feel confident in my position. I feel confident in my capabilities. But unless I'm missing something and I'm not good at my job, then I'm like, I don't know why you'd hire me. That to me is strange. Like, just don't have me back. But I feel, confident in my position. So I don't think there's anything wrong with being laid back. Because I don't see it as that. I see it as letting people run their departments. And I'm being asked questions I don't know how to answer. I'm like, I don't do the cabins. Like, I'm on service 24/7. So I'm like, I don't really know what to tell you. Like, I can only tell you what I witnessed, which was the women were incredibly intoxicated. The only thing out of the 3 days I was asked for were towels. I gave them straight away, which is normal. We get that all the time. We only have a certain amount of towels, and you've been there, they rinse through them, no pun intended. So I didn't really know what to answer. And yeah, I don't, I think the answer is just, if you don't think I'm good at my job, don't hire me back. If you think I'm a shit chief stew, like,
and I think you were also giving the benefit of the doubt to your team as well, which was, that's kind 100%, of what you're like.
I'm going to stick up for the girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have any reason to doubt them. I would have picked them over, the guests were lovely and they were all really nice, and I really enjoyed having them on board. But yes, I'm gonna trust the girls. If the girls tell me, that the cabins were hard to keep up with, if they tell me, that they were messy and that they tried their hardest, then yeah, I'm gonna believe them. I'm not gonna go, you're wrong, you're lying to me, like blah blah blah. Like, I'm not gonna do that. So I kind of just sit there and go, okay, well, I guess we didn't replenish the toilet paper. Yeah. I don't really believe that.
How did you feel about the reaction?
I'm wrong.
The reaction of the guests, like pretty animated reaction of the guests saying, it was the worst trip ever because they didn't have toilet paper and towels. And they didn't get
it felt a little dramatic. It felt very directed at my department, and it was frustrating. We didn't leave the dock, but my team did the shittest job. Okay, right, like, copy. I got that, but whatever. Yeah, it's the interior's fault. It's pretty much always the interior's fault. I get that. I'm kind of used to it at this stage, so
yeah,
fine.
The interior is the redheaded stepchild of the boat, so you're always
yeah.
What I'm actually curious, because the boys didn't have Gary, obviously, because he's got COVID, but What's their experience like? How can, because Colin was so preoccupied, I can't imagine that they would have gotten a huge amount of guidance.
Yeah, it was hard for the guys. You know, again, you kind of have to ask them, but it was difficult because I think, you know, a normal circumstance, Colin would have been able to kind of step in a bit more and help them. Not that I think Colin knows a huge amount about the deck, but more than they do. And to be honest, you know, it would have been nice even if I could have helped them, but I have, you know, 8 ladies to look after and 2 green stews. So I didn't really have the time to look after them. And the engine troubles just, it was just chaotic. It was a really kind of unfortunate set of circumstances, and I felt bad for the boys to have such little guidance. Luckily they didn't need a huge amount of guidance for 2 reasons: one, they weren't really needed, and B, you know, they had their heads screwed on, so they kind of managed pretty well without any guidance. But yeah, it wasn't an ideal situation for sure.
Yeah, I feel like if they made any major mistakes, we definitely would have seen it on the episodes. And
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a huge amount they could make a mistake
that's
on because
true.
they didn't off. We were really doing much, but nah, the boys were good. They were pretty capable, so they did good.
I like how Chase kind of got involved in the neon night as well. He like that's like I think that's what I
Oh
like
yeah,
about him.
Kate.
He's got a good attitude. Like I'm the same as you. I really like that dry humor, which is what you can it translates with definitely in particular with Lucy and Alex. That dry humor translates actually. And what's the other girl's name again? Mads. Actually, the three of them, you
Mads.
can see it. But then Chase is obviously just like a yes person. And I love a yes person. So I found that pretty funny when he was getting involved.
No, definitely. I can kind of look back at it now and be like, it's
Yeah, you
funny,
would
but
have
at the
been
time
like
I was like, you're really
cringe at the
annoying.
time.
But regards to gas, oh no, he was like incredible with the gas. I will 100% give that to them. Like, I would happily leave him with the gas and I'll just go off and drink a margarita. Like, that's fine. You do that. Like, no, he was great with the gas. He's he's a very, very good crew member when it comes to the gas, not necessarily the crew.
Yeah, you can you always need one of those in a team in yachting. You need one person that's just gonna
Yeah,
like
no, definitely. Now I
dive
can look back
head
on it and
first.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the hot tub, the passable hot tub, it's seen a lot of action in its time. It's like there's something in the water. Like everyone just
No
gets
pun
so
intended.
wild. It's way crazier than any other below deck franchise boats hot tub.
Do you think? Yeah, actually, you're probably right. They don't hang out in the hot tub. You know what? It's a weird one. So I would never be someone to be like, let's get in the hot tub, but we don't have a focal point on the boat. Like, obviously, we're not allowed music because of copyright issues, and you know, it's important to like, you know, have somewhere that you can, you know, story wise, you can all sit around together. So it's a bit of a funny one. So for me, it's just such a natural draw to go up to the hot tub because I'm like, where else would you go? Like, you know, it's like everyone goes to the kitchen at home, or like, I don't know if you've like a nice garden table or something. That's kind of like what Parsival is. But yeah, that bloody hot tub. That night was wild. Like, you only see a fraction of it, but I don't remember anything. I don't remember anything from the hot tub. I kind of remember up until the trolley, and then the hot tub I just completely blacked out.
Oh
You can
my
obviously
God,
see it in my
that's
eyes.
so
I'm like,
funny.
oh, so
It was nice
cringe.
to
I
relive
don't think
drunk
I
memories
knew
on
that.
television.
I think I remembered making out with Alex as a dare, but I don't think I knew that like everyone else was making out because I think I was just so blacked out. But yeah, that was a good solid start to the season. It really set the tone.
Yeah, definitely.
Hi, River.
It's really early here, so he's just woken up.
Oh,
It's like bright lights, people. We're almost done with our little chat anyway. So we can sort of wrap it up in a sec. Hang on, I'm just gonna check if I have any other questions. Oh, By the way, has Parsifal still not got champagne glasses?
No, I don't think so. I think we had like 4 or
Yeah,
something.
we had
So that's
hardly
why
any back in our
yeah,
season, so I can
don't
imagine
even
that.
start to about the glass situation. It's a bit of a sore subject.
I can imagine. I definitely felt like when Lucy like smashed that whole tray of glasses, I felt bad for her. It wasn't a crying moment, but I definitely felt bad for her.
No, I know she shouldn't have cried. I just think, it was a lot. You know what it's like walking onto that boat. We're not able to leave the dock. There was 8 women. You know what? I mean, we didn't know a female charger, I'm pretty sure. It was really full on, and you really can't grasp from the episode how full on it was for the interior. It's just exhausting, and the middle is kind of a bit easier just before you hit that middle hump, because you kind of get into a stride of things. So there is a couple of days, the beginning's awful, then you get a few days where you're like in your stride, and things are a bit easier. Then you got the mid hump, which is awful, and then you got the end, which is just awful, because you're just kind of, so the majority of it's awful, but you do kind of get a few days in the middle. So I think it was just, tiredness, getting used to everything. It's a lot. It's, getting used to everyone's personalities and massively. So I think it just kind of, and Lucy's definitely a bit of a sensitive soul, so I think it just got to her a little bit. But yeah, it was a bit early in the season probably to start shedding tears, because I'm like, honey, it's just going downhill from here. So
it's only gonna get worse, not better.
exactly.
Yeah, it definitely, like the first few days, even just being followed by a camera is like, whoa, so much, so intimidating, so intense. Yeah, it's a lot for anyone.
Yeah. Oh, it is. So it's kind of a combination of things, and I just think it was just a classic case of just being a little bit overwhelmed, and then on top of everything else, then you break a tray of glasses in front of the world and in front of all these camera people, and it's just a bit of a low point. So
yeah,
I think that's what happened.
I get it. I remember dropping that Bloody Mary that we spent. You coached me into making for like 15 minutes, and then I and then I dropped it on the swim platform as soon as I got down. I was like, that's going to be on the tray. Oh, do you have, okay, so the big one is the love triangle. Do you have any, like, obviously no spoilers, do you have any comments, anything to share?
No, I don't think, it's going to be another really good season. I don't know how we managed to pull it off, but every season I kind of walk in being like, oh, this is going to be really boring. Everyone's really normal. And then, 6 weeks later, I'm like,
not with you guys,
almost in like almost in like a stretcher, being like, what the hell just happened? I've just been dragged through, a tumble dryer and a washing machine and a forest, and it's kind of like Hunger Games kind of style. But yeah, it's another great season. Love triangles, everyone's hooking up with everyone, arguments, tears, a lot of good times. Yeah, it's just a super fun season. So kind of forget almost what was happened, except that it's just completely traumatized.
You're soon to have your mind refreshed. Lucky you.
Yeah, I know.
It's like PTSD in reverse.
It is this 2 solid episodes. Oh my god, I was dying in the second episode when like Alex is like putting the flask on Glenn's head. Honestly, I laughed so hard at that. I was like,
why does Glenn always get a drunk person on the first night off doing something really weird? Like, he must be so over that.
Like, it was just brilliant. It was such perfect timing, but that really made me laugh. And yeah, it's kind of, it's a weird one. It's kind of same, you kind of know it's gonna come, and yet it still surprises you. Once you get in the hot tub, everyone's gonna start making out and exchanging saliva. Yeah, we all sit there going, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. I know. So yeah, another great season, and yeah, I'm gonna be there with all the viewers because I don't really remember what happened. So
Yeah, you were blacked out the whole time, I'm guessing.
exactly, exactly.
Blacking out to cope. I want to know one last question before we wrap it up. I know it's been a really quick like run over of the episodes, but yeah, we just really pressed for time today. One last question. How do you think, if you can go through the new crew each one by one out of the four of them, how do you think they're going to be received by the audience? No spoilers, just like
Ooh, I think I actually think Chase hit it on the head. I think you're either gonna love him or you're gonna hate him. I think a lot of people are gonna find him very annoying, but I also think a lot of people will find him endearing. And Alex, I really liked him. I loved his dry sense of humor. Whether that's going to come across on screen the way it did in
that's
person,
true.
not
Yeah.
so sure. Um, I think people are going to love Lucy. I hope they do. She's just so funny. You know, there's just nothing not to like about her. Mads might piss people off a bit. It might be a bit like they might feel like she's kind of thinks she's too cool for school.
So she
I
comes
like her
across
a
as like
lot,
cool girl
but
vibes, which is not always like what people are receptive to.
no, exactly. But I really liked her. I think she's a lovely girl, but that possibly she mightn't be. People might get that, yeah, kind of too cool for school vibes. From her, I think Gary's Gary. I think people are gonna absolutely love Colin even more than they already do.
If that's
I'm sure the
possible.
Glenn Stan fam are still gonna hang in there. And then Elisha, I think people will like her. I think, she was a great chef. Possibly not the best drinker, but
Oh, really?
I don't know what I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there for a lot of it, but she's a great chef and she's a good girl. So I really hope that they're all received, as well as I received them. I really liked all of them for, individual reasons, but it'll be interesting to see what the viewers and their opinions are of. But we're always gonna get haters and we're always gonna get lovers, and that's just part of
You
the fun
can't
of
please
it.
everyone. Definitely not.
No, there's no, exactly.
All right. Well, Daisy, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. And I hope I get to see you again. I'm gonna miss
Of
you.
course.
I've
I
already been missing
know.
you. Oh my
Well,
God.
please have me on again. And I'm excited to see what you guys think of the episodes. And yeah, I'm so happy that we got to catch up, and we need to do it again soon because I miss you in my life.
Yes, definitely. Bye, Daisy.
Bye.